Hey there, Oasis Youth. This is Youth Pastor Sam. As you can tell, I have finally gotten a haircut, and I am so excited. My head looks a lot more narrow, and my head feels so much more relaxed. But anyways, that's not what I am doing this video for. I'm doing this video to share with you a Covational for today. So I hope that it's an encouragement for you. I hope that it's a support for you in this time. And this Covational specifically, I hope that it sets us in the right direction to go this summer as we look at the theme of pursuit. So to start this off, I have a quick story. Many of you might not know this, but my dad, my father, was adopted at birth. He was adopted in California by a family who still loves him to this day, and raised him with Christian values, raised him in a Christian home, and my dad really thrived in that in the house, and he's so grateful for the home that he was a part of. He always knew he was adopted, but never did know his biological family until about 25 years ago. He got a call. He got a call from an agency that connects lost families or misplaced persons. And so he got a call, and he picked it up, and they said, "Hey, are you Dan Sexton?" And he said, "Well, yes, I am. Nice to meet you." And they said, "Hey, we have found your biological family. Would you like to come out to New York and meet them?" And so he actually has more to the story to share himself if you ever have a chance to listen to him. But when he went to New York, he met his biological sister who had been looking for him, who had been searching around for her brother that she always wanted to exist but never knew that he was real until maybe a year or so prior to that. He got connected with his biological mother and his biological father, who had two more kids together. He got connected with not only them, but his grandfather and all of his uncles that were crazy. They were interesting. But he got connected to this biological family. And while they were family the entire time, while they were by blood family to my father and to us, it wasn't until my dad realized that they were pursuing him that they would become a realized family. The reason why I share that today is because it fits in line with our theme of pursuit this summer. Pursuit. As I was praying through this summer, God, what do you want us to look at? What do you want us to do? What direction do you want us to go in? One direction that I felt was very important and very essential for us as a youth ministry is this idea of pursuing God. And I get that title from this book. It's called The Pursuit of God. And if you're in high school and you're going to be a part of our odd groups, we're going to go through this short book together. Don't worry, it was written by a guy who didn't graduate high school. I say that, but this guy was such a genius that a seminary that Pastor Caleb went to is named in honor of him. But anyways, he wrote this book called The Pursuit of God. And this is what he says in the very beginning of this book about pursuing God. It's going to set the tone for this summer for us. This is what he says in the first line of chapter 1. He says, "Christian theology teaches the doctrine of prevenient grace, which, briefly stated," so he's going to define it for us, which briefly stated means that before a man can seek God, God must first have sought the man or woman. Right? And he says this, the next paragraph down, he says, "We pursue God because, and only because, He has first put an urge within us that spurs us to the pursuit." This statement is going to be the central piece, the focal point of what we're doing this summer. We're going to take time aside to look in God's Word and see what He has said about Himself, about who He is and who He's revealed Himself to be. And my goal, my hypothesis, if you will, is that as we look at God for who He's revealed Himself to be, that we will get a clearer picture of who He really is. And as we get a clearer picture of who He really is, we will come to find Him to be all satisfactory, all fulfilling, and all sustaining for everything that we need for an enriching life. So today we're looking at, what does it mean that God's pursuing us? Well, in the book of Psalms, in Psalm 139, David says this. He says, "Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up into the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there, your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast." What is David saying? Of course, David is not trying to run from God. He's not trying to get away from God's presence. He's making a different statement altogether. What David is saying is, God, you are everywhere. God, you are all over the place. You are here in this place right here where I'm speaking. You exist even between my mouth and the screen. You exist even in my own being, that you are everywhere. You're present everywhere. God is present even with you right now who are listening to this Covational. He's present very, very, very real, in a very real way in your own room. And so, what does this have to do with pursuit? Let me ask this question. How is it that God could be pursuing you if He's already with you? How is it God could be already pursuing you if He's already with you? And the answer is this, that He is waiting. He's already pursued you. He's already present with you. All He's doing now is waiting for you to interact with Him. He's waiting for you to spend time with Him, to set time aside, say, God, I know that you are seeking me. I want to find you. I want to know you. And so that is my challenge for you today. If you are wondering, what can I do with all the time that I have now? School's out. I still can't go outside. I can't go out that much. Youth group in person is a ways away. What can I do? Well, I want to let you know right now, God is pursuing you and He's waiting for you to spend time with Him. It's as simple as taking time aside, saying, God, I'm going to wait. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to talk to you, and I'm going to wait for you to speak. Or maybe it's, God, I have this Bible here in my room. I've never read it, but what does it say about you? I want to read a book. I want to read the book of Matthew and see what you've done and see who you are and get to know you more. I believe that if you were to do that, if you were to take the time aside to seek God, to pursue Him because He's already been pursuing you, that you will find Him. One last story before I close up. When I was in college, one of my classes was called Spiritual Formation in the Church, which is fancy technical jargon for pursuing God. And one of the assignments in this class was to take a day of solitude. It was basically to take a day aside and be alone for a long period of time. For me, sometimes it was 8 hours, just going out into the wilderness because there was a lot of woods around Reading, and so I was getting ready to go off to the woods, and I turned to my roommate before I was exiting the door, and I said, "Hey, Matt," because Matt was a man who I felt like he pursued God more than I did. He was a man who spent hours praying to the Lord every day, and I was so amazed. And I said, "Matt, I would like your advice here. I'm going out to this day of solitude. I've never really done this before. Do you have any advice? Do you have any advice for me?" And I remember Matt, he was a year younger than me, and he was just sitting down. And actually, I think he was about to be playing video games for that day. And I wish I could be doing that. But anyways, he sat down and he thought a little bit. He said, one thing that I've always come to realize when I have these days of solitude, when I set time aside to spend with God, is that it's never about me seeking God. It's not really about me trying to find Him. It's always that He's already there. And I just need to realize that His presence is there. And that changed the way I thought about what it means to be a Christian, what it means to be a Christ follower, because most religions around the world, it's us seeking God. It's us seeking to earn God's favor, to earn God's attention, to earn God's salvation through doing X, Y, and Z. But Christianity, the Christian faith, the faith that we hold to and the faith that we confess as true, has at its very forefront a God who pursued you first, who's waiting for you to spend time with Him. So I encourage you, take advantage of that, take a hold of that, and see what happens as we approach the summer to look at the pursuit of God.